Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of pre-season deer scouting, hanging a few trail cameras, but we're going to be doing things a little bit different. We're going to be riding an alpaca. Let's get right in. All right, guys, I wanted to stop and give you a quick tip, especially for those that are hunting down here in Florida. What I have behind me are some palmetto berries. Now, these grow pretty much everywhere in Florida, and that kind of poses a big problem. For one, it kind of gives the deer the three main things they need for survival, which are cover, food, and sometimes water, depending on where these things are growing. Now, what I look for are some sort of transition area, some opening, some sort of pathway for them to travel within these palmetto flats. Now, the one I have behind me, I don't know if you can see, but I just found a nice travel area behind me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to try to find some rubs and maybe some scrapes. But what I'm trying to focus on are more of some rubs. Now, the rub's telling me that that is a travel area for bucks. I like to focus more on rub lines. I'm gonna go check it out. All right, guys, after walking down in here, as you can see, most of this area was pretty much flooded, so I had to turn around and head back out. Well, guys, as scouting sometimes goes, that spot didn't pan out, but we're going to get the alpaca loaded up and we're going to hit the next spot. All right, guys, we finally made it back to one of our other spots. We finally found an active scrape. This is an area that I'm pretty familiar with. They scrape in this area pretty much every year. So this particular scrape, he looks like he hit it this morning. That's evident by, I don't know if you can see here, but it looks like by the way that he was scraping, he went that way. Now, I'm pretty familiar with these deer. They pretty much do the same thing every year. Right here behind me, there's a creek bottom. They work this creek bottom at night, and then what they'll do is when they're done feeding, they'll cut across this open ridge or open woods behind me here. They'll cut across here, and they'll go and they'll bed in a field on the other side back here in front of me. So what we're going to do is we're going to hang a trail camera here, come back in a couple weeks, check it and see what kind of buck inventory we have. So I got to get back to the truck, grab a few things, get that hung up, and we'll get back with you. All right, there's our scrape. I believe we're going to want to put this on this tree. I'm going to be putting my Browning camera up. Always use a Python cable. Facing the scrape. Hanging a few branches around your trail camera just makes it, I don't know, break up the outline of it a little bit, just to help it hide from either the deer or other people. guys, I stopped at another spot that I found, and as I walked off into the woods a little bit, there was an old logging road, and it's a perfect travel corridor where these deer are coming out of this bedding area. And on the other side of the road, there's some oaks, but what I believe they're going to do is transition to the other side of the road. They're going to probably still be bedding on this side, but they're going to transition to the other side of that road and start feeding on those acorns. But I believe they're bedding in here, but there's a creek bottom on that side, so I don't know if they're just crossing to get water, but that's probably what they're doing. But they'll be crossing to going over there to get those acorns anyway. So this is an old logging road that they're using. I don't know if you can see, but there's a nice trail right here at my feet. There's cover on both sides of the road. They're bedding in here and going across. So just got to find an ambush spot. I'm going to go ahead and go to that side of the road. All right, for all you guys that are just now starting out hunting, another tip is when you have different terrain that comes together and it looks a little different. What I mean by that is when you have different types of landscape that comes together. Like to my left here is nothing but a palmetto flat. And if you turn with me, here's that trail that was on the other side of the road over there. That trail continued right here and goes straight. But if you look this way, it's like a scrub oak flat. Now these two types of terrain come together right here, and it almost creates like a landscape transition. Now these deer love edges like that, and they follow them, and that's evident by this trail. So I don't think I'm gonna go much further. I've already seen a couple rubs, and I know that these deer come in here and they scrape a lot. There's some scrapes on the inside this scrub oak hill right here. There's always scrapes in here, so probably not gonna go up in here too much further. I don't want to mess it up too much. Like I said, my hunt's in about 3 weeks, so I'm gonna go ahead and back out. But this is a great transition area between where the landscape changes. And for those of you just starting out, if you ever see where the landscape changes terrain, where it just looks different, the deer love those areas. They'll follow those areas, or they'll follow those transitions. So that's a good target location. So when you find a general area, narrow it down to a target location. And this would be a target location. And you can use different apps. You can use Google Earth, Onyx. I use Hunt Stand, and you can mark those locations on those apps. Facebook groups. I mean, you'll have people on there. I mean, I'm sometimes that guy that'll give away locations sometimes. I might be doing it right now, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm gonna take some heat for this, but ask your local biologists, ask your local game wardens. I've got some really good information out of those guys, and they'll sometimes put you on some deer. Use your resources, and it helps. I'm gonna keep on pushing down the road here. I'm gonna try to find some couple more areas. So let's go ahead and back out of here. Well, curiosity got the best of me. I got in here and started seeing some rubs and scrapes. I pushed a little bit too far and I jumped some deer. So I did find a really nice scrape line. I usually don't hunt scrape lines, but there were so many of them, and they formed a perfect line against this creek bottom. So I had to hang a tree cam or a trail cam. So I probably won't come back until my hunt. Maybe during the hunt I'll check that camera. I did bump a couple deer. I don't recommend that, but like I said, curiosity got the best of me. So it didn't sound like a big deer. I mean, you can't really tell sometimes, but it just looks so good. But oh well, I'm gonna go ahead and back out for real this time. But I gotta find my bike. I don't know what I do, where I put it. Far too often we run into these signs right here in these wildlife management areas in Florida. And probably the most useful tool I had today with me was my mountain bike. So without that, I probably wouldn't have got done what I got done today. I had about a 2-hour window to get in here, do some scouting, get a couple trail cameras hung. So I got that done today. So yeah, that's probably the most useful tip of the day. So catch you next time.